dedicated student athlete and you're willing to put in the time and effort, there is a place out there for you. It may not be a Power Four school, but we can find you a place where you can find a good fit, get a solid education, and continue your athletic career. So that's what we're doing. In essence, we're just trying to create conversations that we wish we would have heard when we were going through the recruiting process way back when, because sometimes high school coaches, parents, guidance counselors, they don't necessarily, they think they know what's best for you, but maybe sometimes they want to keep you within your bubble, and sometimes you might need to step out of your bubble a little bit. So that's what we're here doing, and we're excited to chat with you tonight.
Cool. Great. Excited to join.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, howdy and aloha. We are here, you are there, and you are now rocking with the best. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Airey Bros Radio. Tonight, we're lacing up the spikes and we're heading back to New Jersey with Coach Bob Hamer, Director of Cross Country and Track and Field at Rider University. Go Bronx. But before we get rolling, y'all know the drill. Make sure you hammer that like button and are subscribed on YouTube. Drop a comment, every view, review, and share it. Helps us give back and grow the sport we love. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. As always, this episode is fueled by Black Sheep Endurance for all your ultramarathon coaching and nutrition needs. And let's not forget why we're here. We're here to shine a light on the programs, people, coaches, and stories we wish we had access to growing up. If you were someone you know is chasing a college dream in cross-country, track, and field, please share this episode with them. On to tonight's guest. As I mentioned, Coach Bob Hamer is joining us this evening from Rider. The Broncos were back-to-back champions, sweeping the men's and women's MAAC indoor and outdoor titles in 2022 and 2023, as well as 2023 and 2024, with Coach Hamer earning MAAC Coach of the Year honors across both seasons. He's developed a pipeline of 170 plus All East performances, 2,200 plus MAAC Golds, stacking up program records and a track record of under-the-radar recruits turning into conference winners. There have been consistent USTFCCCA all-academic team recognition. The XC squad posting some of the best and highest GPAs at Rider. Performance and academics are in lockstep. Without further ado, let's lace them up and get out onto the cross-country course with Coach Hamer. It is an honor and a pleasure to have you joining us this evening. We do greatly appreciate your time. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I really appreciate the intro. Thanks a lot, guys.
Absolutely. Coach, before we get too far into it, anywhere we can send parents, recruits, fans, anything you got going on social media, the floor is yours.
Yeah, sure. Well, all our socials are Rider XCTF. We have Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We're also, you can click on gobronx.com, navigate to cross country and track and field. And if you want to get in contact with us, you can fill out a questionnaire, or also all of our emails for myself and all my staff are located on there, and gives you an opportunity to, reach out to us and find out more about the program.
Awesome. We'll put all that stuff in the show notes for you as well. Coach, we know you're a PA guy, but you've been in Jersey long enough, so this is probably going to be the most important question we're going to ask you all evening. We ask all of our New Jersey guests this question. Is it pork roll or Taylor ham?
Oh, I got to go pork roll, definitely.
Boy, boy.
Another one for the board, Rich.
Another one for the board, that's right.
As a child growing up in Ocean City, we'd go to I think it's Bob's or something like that, the pork roll, red and white awning. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, all right. And then another little icebreaker we got for you, Coach. We know as well, as I said, you're a PA guy, but you're also a Penn State alum. Curious, did you get to head over in the wintertime to catch Coach Hangy and the wrestlers grapple on the mats?
I have not been in there. Cale Sanders did wander by me a couple of times, but the wrestling room is right outside my office, and I was kind of in awe getting a chance to look at Cale and what he's done, and obviously Hangy's done a great job. The idea that Cale comes out here, and it's a really exciting moment for our university and obviously our wrestlers to get a chance to compete against one of the storied programs and one of the storied coaches and individuals in the sport. So that's really, really cool. But it is kind of fun to see him. I haven't been, I think we've actually competed when the matches have actually taken place, but they've been there weighing in or practicing in the wrestling room when I wander by.
Right on. So, Coach, the way we like to kick things off, we all have our origin stories to the sport, how we got into it as youngins, and then maybe how that also led us into coaching. So we're curious, what's your origin story to the sport of cross country and track and field, and when along that journey did you decide you were going to be a coach? I think you maybe wanted to be a Wall Street guy at one point too.
Yeah, that was more my thing at that moment in time. Well, I'm a child of the 80s, so that kind of, watching Wall Street and all that, this investment banking was something I thought I wanted to be. Yeah, I played a lot of soccer, baseball as a kid. Those were the things that I was really, really interested. A lot of, we played street hockey in the winter between seasons, in the neighborhood. But as I got older, I wasn't as good in those sports as I wanted to be, and I really wanted to be part of something where I had a chance to excel. And I always was pretty good at running around during the fitness part of soccer. And I ended up running outdoor track. They call it spring track, I guess, in high school. And each year, that was my sophomore year, and then I added a season each year. So I ended up dropping soccer for my senior year for cross country, and pretty much have been involved in the sport full time ever since. I was really fortunate. I went to a really great high school that had a really great program at Council Rock, and Coach Preston was a great, really, really great coach and great mentor for that time of my life. It really, really taught me what it takes to be, successful as an individual in the sport, but more importantly, the team aspect of it. He was a big preacher of that, and I think that just really, really fed to me that I want to be part of a team and a program and something bigger than myself, but also, something you could put a lot of much like wrestling, right? If you put a lot of time and effort into it, you're probably going to get pretty good or at least better than you were, and you get some satisfaction from it. I was really fortunate. I got to compete at Penn State, run for Coach Groves, another legendary coach, and had a great opportunity to compete at a really, really high level there. And the same kind of thing. I mean, he was really invested in the full team, the full program. We were obviously serious about cross country, but we were also serious about track. And I think that's, really shaped me. I even at that point, I didn't want to be a coach. I thought I was going to go into the world as a investment banker. But I think when I left Penn State, I wanted to use my business degree, but I didn't really want to be a Wall Street guy anymore. And I thought I really wanted to be in athletic administration. Um, this might hit home with you guys a little bit too, but like when I was in college in the early 90s was when Title IX really started to be implemented in the athletic world, in collegiate athletics. So there were, track and field programs on the men's side that were being eliminated. Wrestling programs as well were under attack. And, I felt like I wanted to be someone in administration that could kind of be a voice for the non-revenue generating sports. Obviously, wrestling generates revenue at Penn State, but at that time it was different. And be a voice for the sports that weren't the ones that were always on TV. So I ended up going to Westchester, got my master's in sports administration. I thought I was going to wander on that career, and I ended up coaching high school. My mother-in-law worked with somebody who had a high school connection. They said, "Hey, why don't you apply for this job?" And I did, and I ended up getting the job and coached there for a couple of years. And then I worked at St. Joe's for 4 years as an assistant under Coach Glavin, which was a outstanding experience working with Coach Glavin and then Coach Quinn with the women's side of the program. It was really, really great. And it gave me a chance to kind of, mentor under different people, learn coaching from a different way. And it really helped, get my bug going that I really, really wanted to make this a career. And then I had an opportunity to move over to Ryder and started out as a part-time coach and was hoping that it would work into be something full-time. And after a couple of years, it did. And I was here for 5 years, and then I had the opportunity to become the head coach. And I've been here for this is my 23rd year. Starting my 17th or I guess it would be 18th as the head coach of the whole program. So it's been a fun journey. Crazy that this is what we get to do in life. I get to work, stay in the sport and work and mentor, young people and help them, chase their dreams, much like I did when I was a, young kid in high school and uncertain of what the future held. But I knew I wanted to be involved in the sport, so it's really fun to be part of their journey and help them, accomplish whatever goals and dreams they have.
Coach, you've been able to work with some pretty impressive coaches, and whether, high school, college, Coach Glavin. Do you have, and you're actually the second Penn State alum that we've had that's coaching now in the past. Was it 2 weeks, Jim, or 3 weeks? Coach Robinson from Lansing, was that last week or the week before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we asked him, he kind of gave us a little bit, but I'm curious because I've heard many stories about the legends of Harry Groves, do you have a favorite story you could share with us before we get into the rider program?
Oh man, a favorite Coach Grove story. I don't know if we can do it on this format. I'll tell you what, one of my favorite ones one time we were, we'd be, you're in state college and you get to November time, the weather can get kind of sketchy. We're out in the old golf course and there was like this apple orchard where we would kind of start, like not orchard, but there were apple trees around the perimeter and we'd kind of start and we're getting ready to go for, it started to snow. And, it had snowed earlier in the day, I guess. And some guys had built, some people had walked out on the golf course and built like a snowman. And somehow he had something against the snowman. So he took the van and was driving at like 30 miles an hour across the field and crashed in and blew up the snowman in the middle of the field and kind of set the tone for the day for us for the workout. Like, all right, we're not complaining it's snowing out and it's cold and it's wet. We're just going to get out there and get the job done. So,
But
but
it's funny you mentioned the golf course and snow because it was I think it was the fall of '97, it might have been '98, but our NCAA regionals were at Penn State that year and it had snowed, so there was snow on the golf course. And Monmouth had very similar Nike uniforms to Penn State,
Mhm.
and we had a couple guys that were up in the mix, and people were like, I guess congratulating Coach Groves because they were just assuming that the Monmouth guys were Penn State guys, and it looked like Penn State was going to qualify for NCAA. So
Oh,
they
geez.
didn't that year, but Coach Groves had come up to Coach Joe and was giving him a little bit of the business about how our guys had people thinking that Penn State was qualifying for NCAAs that year.
Coach Joe must have loved that. That's awesome.
Coach, 25 years at Ryder, what have been some of the biggest changes to the program and the school?
I think some of the biggest changes to the program, I mean, we always try to elevate ourselves. I think we try to be a full and complete team, and really, try to compete at the highest level. We're always trying to compete for conference championships. So I think that's the biggest thing for me is to make sure that I give my staff who coaches all the events outside of distance the tools they need to be successful. And the opportunity to go out there and find the right athletes that are great fits for our program and that hopefully we can grow and develop. And, I think obviously track and field in general, as a sport has become so good and has improved so much over the last, 5 to 10 years. But for us as well as we wanted to make sure we raise our program as well to kind of meet the expectations and the level of competition elsewhere. I think for us, the things that have changed in obviously, the landscape of college athletics has changed, and it's really, really difficult to be competitive. But we try to make sure we do some things. I mean, one of the things is, we dedicated our track to Coach Brady, who was a coach in the '80s and the early '90s, and the alums. He was obviously incredibly successful. He kind of set the standard for success here at Ryder as far as track and field is concerned, and the guys that competed for him donated a bunch of money so they could name the track after him. And with that money, we built what is our Brady building. We call it the Michael P. Brady building. And it's basically our operations center for track and field. So it's really, really nice when we host a meet. We have like a two-level building with the top level is almost like a press box. I'm actually sitting in the top part right now. But we can put our timers are up here. The announcers are up top, so they're not intense on the field. It gives a more professional feel to the meet. Um, you can kind of hang out up here. Alums can come up and watch the meet from a press box kind of setting. And downstairs is kind of a wide open garage area, which is really nice. We're able to store a lot of our things we need for meets, but it's also an open area where we can get some shelter, for everyday daily practices, which is kind of nice if you need a little bit of space to stretch out or roll out after practice or kind of gather, which is kind of nice. So it adds a little bit more professional feel to our facility. And I think that's something that's really been a big enhancement for us over the last 10 years. I mean, it's only 6 years old, I guess now, but it's been a really great thing and really, really thankful to the alumni and the contributions of Coach Brady to really help make this happen.
It's always nice to have a hub where the track athletes and cross country athletes can hang out and be on their own together as a
Absolutely.
team. When we had Coach Hangy on, he referred to rider wrestling as a mom and pop operation. He said one of the benefits to being a coach at Rider is you can put more time into the kids, into their development. At some of the bigger schools, you have to perform right away. Do you feel that's the same on the cross country and track and field side?
Absolutely. I mean, we're a developmental program, right? We don't get a finished product. And the best part of our job is I love being a part of, when an athlete comes in as a freshman and, we try to recruit them with the idea that we have this atmosphere, this culture, and this environment that they can thrive and grow in, and whatever, goals and dreams they have, they can achieve them here. And the best part of that is watching them grow. If we don't win, we're not getting fired. If we do something terrible, yeah. But if we're constantly putting out a bad product, yeah, I'm sure our jobs would be in jeopardy. But we do have the chance and the flexibility to get out there and really work with them on a daily basis and grow and develop them. And that's the best part is, we try to tell them that, hopefully by the time your freshman year, you're learning a lot. Sophomore year, hopefully you're putting some of those lessons to good use. And by the time you're a junior, hopefully you're making a big contribution to the program, if you're capable of it. And you look back at your freshman self and go, wow, I can't believe how good I got here. And, I know Angie does a great job with that. And that's something that we try to pride ourselves on as well, is that we're developing, young men and women to hopefully be competitive at this level, but also, develop them as people. That's super important too. So when they finally leave here, they get a chance to go out in the real world and whatever pursue, whatever career they want to pursue, they have the schools skills and the tools to hopefully go out there and have success and find the job that they want, the career that they want, and they can find joy and happiness that I have in what I get to do every day, and hopefully they can find that. But it's really great. I mean, we have a supportive administration, but they really do let us do our job. Like, here's the framework, here's your budget, here's how some of the guidance and direction that you need to do your job. We'll support you in the ways that we can, but I do get the opportunity to kind of freely work with young people, and it's really, really nice to have that ability because it does take time. We're not perfect. I mean, we're dealing with 18 to 22-year-old kids that, um, it's a challenging part in their life, and it's much harder than when we were young people, right? They have so many more distractions. Like you opened the show with, hey, this is incredible to have this platform, which it is, but there are other platforms that make it a little bit more challenging at times. And, it's nice to be part of their lives in a really important time frame of their lives where we get to be part of it and hopefully be a really good positive influence on what they're trying to, the journey that they're on when they're here at Ryder.
Talk about that development. I believe it was 2024. You had a young lady that was pretty fast in the 1500 meters, and now she's a professional runner. What was her trajectory like coming out of high school, and like how many levels did she jump to get to now being a professional athlete?
Yeah, she's a great story, Teagan. I mean, if I tell everybody this all the time, like, she sat across from me just like everybody else during the recruiting process, and I had zero idea she was going to be that good. Like, no idea. She was a top level recruit for us. I mean, she ran a little over 5 minutes for the mile, and she probably ran, I think it was around 11:15 or 11:20 for 2 miles. So she was a really good recruit for us at that point in time. Her freshman year, she had some success. And then she struggled a little bit right before we got to COVID. She had a couple injuries and things weren't going great. We came back. If you guys remember, we had that came back in the fall, but we didn't really have cross country till the winter. And we had a winter cross country season. And it didn't go as well as she had hoped. Her leg was kind of banged up. She wasn't in a good mental space. And it was a difficult time for kids during that time period. Being on campus, it was very isolating. And, she was probably going to be shut down for a little bit of time. And I said, hey, why don't we just, I had no foresight on it except for she just wasn't having a great time. I was like, why don't we just, why don't you just go home? Let's call this your break and we'll start back up, in a month or so for your summer training, getting ready for next year. And she came back, and in that fall, she had a solid fall, wasn't great. Indoor was pretty decent. We got to the MAAC championships, and she had a solid MAAC championships, but then we went to the ECAC meet. And she had run, maybe 4:55 or something like that for the mile prior to that. And all of a sudden we get to ECA and something clicked, and she ended up running low 440s and just completely blew us away. And we're like, oh my God, like this is like a big, big, big jump. And she was fortunate enough to make the regional meet outdoors, which was real exciting for anybody in our program to make that NCAA first round. And And then it was just a matter of, I think she really committed and dedicated herself to the lifestyle that it took. I think that was her biggest challenge. She wasn't really dedicated to the lifestyle that it took to be a big time athlete in the program, or a big time athlete in the NCAA. And she really committed to, getting really great sleep. Like sleeping wasn't something, as most young people struggle with. She didn't really do a great job sleeping, and, understanding what you have to do, to fuel yourself to be successful as a student athlete. And it was a journey for her. It took a while to get to where she would get to where she ended up getting to. She had a lot of really strong goals, and she was a great athlete to coach because you kind of were aware of all the things she was doing. So if we had to tweak something, we could tweak it, and you would get hopefully the desired response, which was really great. And she was really invested in the program, and she really loved her journey here at Ryder. And it was just great. I mean, that one, the year, it was disappointing the previous year. She didn't make it out of the first round to get to Oregon for the NCAA finals. She did qualify for the NCAA, or excuse me, the USA championships, which is a really great experience for her. And then the next year, the goal was to come back and try to make the Olympic trials. And, that's not a normal thing for someone at Ryder. Um, I've never actually coached somebody while they were here until her at the Olympic trials. We did have two of our athletes just after the first year after they graduate qualified. We had a woman, Emily Ritter, made it in the steeplechase, and then Christian Gonzalez made it in the 800 meters after he graduated. But to have somebody that was still part of the program was really, really great. Really, really great thing. And it was just really fun. I mean, I learned a lot coaching her. She taught me a lot on what it takes to get athletes to that next level, and navigating that next level is difficult. I mean, there's, everybody's good, everybody wants to be great, and the margin of error is very, very slim. But it was really, really fun. It was really, really great experience, and I'm really, really thankful that she gave me the opportunity to go to some really cool opportunities. Like be a coach at Olympic trials is amazing. Yeah, be up there. And for me, the best part was just being able to watch and observe other people. I really like that. I was just watching other coaches and other athletes, how they prepare, and, what can I learn? What can I do better? If I get this opportunity again, and what can I bring back to my team? And, that was the other thing. Like, what can I learn from Coach and Teagan, and what can we do to get an opportunity to bring back to the athletes on the team so that they have a chance to have some successes? What can I do to help, my staff become better? And have an opportunity like I had. So that was really, really great part. And the idea that she's, now competing with the Brooks Beasts, I think it's a really, really great fit for her. Danny and his crew are really, really great people, and great coaches. And I think it's a really, really great fit for her. And I think she's really enjoying it. It's a challenge. First year's a tough year, right? Transition. And she's really looking forward to a big second year with the Beasts, and hopefully she can take that, all the training and hard work she's put in to be able to get some results that take it to that next level.
Yeah, heck yeah. Curious, was that buy-in to that? Was that something that came after that 440 performance at ECACs, or did you kind of see that coming, getting into that?
I mean, she was always bought in, but I think the athletes don't realize how important the other stuff is. They're pulled in so many directions, if that's what
Right.
you're asking. Yeah. Yeah. I think the full buy-in was, I think she really knew that she could be a better than she was. I don't know if she saw Olympic trials in her future at that moment, but she saw that she had ability to be really, really good. And I think it just, something clicked, former teammates maybe got in her ear, and we were like, hey, you have a chance to be really, really good. This is what you got to do. And she finally bought in. I mean, we talk about lifestyle quite a bit, but it's really hard sometimes for it to click for everybody. I get it. They're young people. They want to try to do everything. I have two kids, two teenagers. They do the same thing. They all want to do everything. And if you want to sometimes you have to say no to some things. And I think that's one of the things that maybe she learned a little bit was, hey, I do have a special talent that maybe if this is something I want to do. We talk a lot about, like, people talk about sacrifices. I call it choices. I mean, if you have a choice, this is something fun. If you love it and you want to succeed at it, when you're out there, you don't feel like you miss anything. Like when I was an athlete, I was at Penn State, there were tons of distractions, but I really loved being an athlete, and I wanted to be as good as I could possibly be. So it was easy to make those choices in my mind. And that's one of the things we try to, mentor our athletes on, is that, what you're doing is making choices. And if you're excited about it, you have a better chance to be successful. If you see this as like something you have to do and it's a sacrifice, I think it's really going to weigh on you, and it's not really going to lead to the kind of success that you hope for um, in the
Was it
sport.
Was there a bit of a ripple effect after that with through the team with like that? Okay, we've got to make sure we're dialed in with sleep and nutrition, and there's more to it than just studying and showing up to practice.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we had two younger women on the team that were, very under the radar athletes in high school. And they just graduated last year, but they had the opportunity to be on the team with Teagan for several years. And I think they really, her the way she carried herself over those two to three big years that she had really made a big impact on them and others in the program to show them, number one, that they're tangible, right? These are Teagan became someone you see on TV, and they don't think that's something that they can do. She was someone that was going toe to toe with, big time runners, that they maybe, admired and fangirled on, and it was an opportunity for them to realize that they're human beings just like her, and whatever your talent and ability is, let's try to maximize it. Not everybody could be a Teagan, but let's be the best version of ourselves. And I think that really rubbed off on them, and it rubbed off on all the other, even on the men, because it's like, hey, this is something that I want to be like her. This looks like a lot of fun. These are goals and dreams I have, and this is what I want to accomplish. And I think that's the best part about it, right? You just need to get some buy-in, get some people that become some first followers and get excited about taking things to the next step. And we'll get there. I mean, we've struggled a little bit on the men's side in cross country to try to achieve some of well, cross country last year we had a good year, but track we were hoping to be a little bit better from a time perspective. But the guys have made a big commitment to some lifestyle things this year, and I think it's going to eventually pay off big time down the road, where we're really getting some really good training and dedicating to the things that it takes to be successful. And that's the fun part. Taking kids that, here's your goal and dream. We sit down, we talk about them. But I think more important than making the goals is actually figuring out what the pathway is to get there. I mean, we could all make goals, but what does it take? I mean, you guys are really successful people in your own rights in athletics and in regular life. And you can't just have hey, I'm going to do this one day. You really have to have a pathway and support system around you that hopefully you can achieve a really high level.
Coach, being a program that develops athletes are not finished products when you get them, what are some of the key attributes you look for in recruits?
I mean, when they're sitting across from me, are they passionate about the sport? Are they excited about the sport? When I'm talking about what we have to offer and what we value, are they getting excited about it? Are they shaking their head? Are they smiling? Is this something that's important to them? Do they value this? Like, are they committed? Are they dedicated? Do they understand, how much hard work it takes? I use that line all the time. If someone's struggling a little bit and I think they're not really making great choices, I'll be like, well, hey, remember when you sat across from me? You told me all the goals and dreams you had. Like, I've been pretty clear and transparent of what it's going to take to be there. But I also am clear that this isn't the only thing they have in their lives. I want them to have some well-roundedness. That this is the only thing that defines them. It's going to be super challenging because it isn't always perfect. There are a lot of ups and downs, and we need to have other things to help manage that. But those are the things. Looking for that, and maybe there's someone that did another sport and they're new to the sport and they're just trying to find their way, and they've had a history of success in other areas in their life. And they just maybe have some keywords that really trigger to me that, hey, they're passionate, they care about this sport, and they're willing to put in the time and the effort and the energy to be really good, or be the best version of themselves.
What do you say to an athlete who, says they're doing all the buy-in stuff, they're doing all the lifestyle stuff, they're performing in practice, but they're not quite getting the numbers or the places they want in meets?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. It takes time. If they are truly doing everything that they say that they're doing, and it looks like they're on a really, really positive path, that's where I have to look internally and go, okay, am I giving them everything that they need? Is there something maybe I'm making a mistake in training? Because we are a team and we are a program where we're trying to make each individual is bigger than themselves. However, we coach them as individuals. I do have, I guess, a bunch of principles that I think are important for us to have success in training and being an athlete. But sometimes one size doesn't fit all. So I have to maybe take a look internally and go, okay, and examine our training. Hey, is there something we have to fix? Is there something here maybe we need to do? But really do a deep dive. Because I mean, here's the deal. My experience, if you ask athletes if they're eating right, they're all going to say yes. If they're hydrating right, they're all going to say yes. So we kind of try to do a little bit deeper dive into it. one of the challenges too is young people, they do a lot of things. So stress is a big thing. And, even if they're sitting down studying, they think they're resting and recovering, but there's a lot of mental stress with that. And when you get out there and you're an endurance athlete, you're gonna be out there where a time where you're really facing something that's really, really hard, and you got to be mentally fresh to fight that battle. And if you're tired and worn out, if you're a male and you're 4 miles into a cross country race and you either have a mile or 2 miles to go, depending on the championship, you know, you got to be willing to get out there and battle. And if your mind isn't fresh and ready to go, and you're stressed in all other aspects of your life, it's going to be really, really difficult. So we try to talk about that quite a bit and find out, the stresses. Some of those aren't very easy to quantify, but really talk to them about it. I really, really try to develop a really great relationship with the athletes so they feel comfortable sharing things with me. The idea of are you really getting true sleep? Are you really, nutrition? We have a dietitian on campus that we refer to the athletes to quite often. Maybe there's something that we're missing from a mental preparation. I mean, there's things that I can do and help them out with, but maybe we need to utilize our sports psychologist or something like that that can maybe give them a little bit extra edge. But I think just sitting down and have a meeting with them one-on-one in a safe, comfortable environment, I think gives them an opportunity to maybe share some things and maybe be a little bit introspective and reflective and think about, hey, what maybe am I not doing perfectly right? What could I maybe do a little bit better? And and them also understanding that, hey, I'm willing to make a change if I feel like we're not doing something correctly. Let's do it. Whether it's reduce some of the training load, whether it's volume, maybe we change the intensity, maybe, hey, you're not responding to this type of workout. Look, what's something maybe that gives you confidence? Let's try to do something else to maybe get you a little bit of confidence going into that next opportunity so you can hopefully get, the result that you're looking for and you crave. And that's one of the big challenges, right? It's your first couple of years, they want everything to be perfect and on this straight line. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get there. And I think another thing, I'm getting a little long-winded, sorry on it, but I think having really great relationships with your teammates because they've been where you are. Ask some of the older athletes that have had success in the program because I guarantee you that they've shared the same kind of trials and tribulations. Like I have a lot of pictures on the wall of athletes that have had, had big time moments in our program. And with the exception of maybe one athlete, every single one of them struggled their freshman year. So either I might not be doing something right my freshman year, I got to fix that. But over the long term, we've done a pretty good job developing them. But you're going to have struggles. You're going to have days that don't go perfect. And we just got to work with you and try to keep you going in the positive direction and try to figure out ways to get fix whatever's not working and hopefully talk it out. And then we can get things moving in a really great direction. You can have the success that you dream of and crave.
It's almost, especially on the guy side, coming from a 5K, jumping up to 8K and 10K, that's that can be a kick in the gut sometimes. And so you get, you might feel good for your 5K pace, and then all of a sudden you realize you got 2 more miles to go. And I took a lot of lumps my freshman year running 8K or 5 miles because it was just I felt great for those 3 miles. That was it. But man, those second 2 miles as a freshman are tough, and that could be that can wear on you mentally when you feel like you're doing all the right things in practice and you're competing with the upperclassmen in practice, but they tend to run away from you when it gets to that fourth and fifth mile.
Oh yeah, it's hard. I tell kids all the time that freshman cross country for men is the most difficult season they're ever going to have. It's really, really hard. Um, and hopefully we just stay healthy and get some good training in and, get a couple, maybe a conference meet, kind of everything hits, you get something to get excited about. And then we get on the track where you have a little bit more known quantity
Yeah.
for yourself against it. So hopefully we can get there healthy and in a good frame of mind.
And talking about volume intensity, changing things up, all the rage these days is the double threshold training. Are the Broncos dabbling at all in double T?
We are not currently. I do have a couple athletes that are asking me to do it. Um, and right now, I don't think it's the right thing for them, given where they are from a training age standpoint. I'm not against it. I should probably learn a little bit more about it, but I think maybe in another year we have some men that are and women that are doing some pretty good running this year as juniors that maybe we could add it in next year, their senior year. But currently we are not. But I'm definitely open to it, but at the moment I don't think it's the right thing for the people having the program. Doesn't mean now maybe I'm making a mistake with that, but at the moment I think we are at a good spot with where we are with our training and volume.
And with all your time as a coach, has there ever been a topic or training modality or method that kids ask about more than double threshold training? Because it seems like all the kids are asking about it these days.
That's a great question. Yeah, I would say probably double threshold, and
Yeah.
part of it might be the availability of it. I mean, one of
Yeah.
the great things that growing up right now, and for me as a coach and athletes, is the resources you have available, online. You have the opportunity to learn about what other people are doing, their training methods, and what makes them successful. And I think that's really, really interesting and exciting. From a coaching standpoint, and listen, I'd be all into that as an athlete as well. I'd be begging my coach. We're always begging our coach to do stuff, and my athletes do the same thing to me that I begged. Coach Groves, we need to do more speed. We're doing too much of this. These hills and strength stuff. We need to do speed. And they complain about the same things to me. So I've become much like we become our parents. I've become my coaches.
Hmm.
So, Coach, you had Wall Street dreams. You were a finance major, and then you got into sports management for your master's.
Mhm.
Did you ever think that you'd be able to put that into your coaching? And how much, as the director of track and field and cross country, do you use that stuff?
Yeah, yeah, when you get into it, you just get into it because you love the sport and you're like, oh, I feel like I have something to offer to kids. But I mean, I obviously use my finance and business degree every day. I mean, we're like, we're kind of almost like a CEO of our little organization. I have to do budgeting. I have to do marketing at times. There's a lot of planning. I'm really a numbers, I'm more of a numbers math guy. So, I mean, I think I've grew up in this day and age. I really be into, analytics as a major maybe. But I really like to deep dive into the numbers, and use sort of my business training as far as, developing what our planning is and what we need to do as far as a program. There's also other things as far as communication, learning effective communication is really, really important, and be able to, get our message out on campus and be an advocate for our program, and be able to effectively deal with, we have to deal with admissions, we have to deal with financial aid, we have to deal with residence life, obviously our own athletic administration. Once in a while we get to, you get to sit down in front of upper level management. We have a new president at Ryder, so getting the chance to meet the new president and hopefully develop a relationship with him and make him understand how valuable our program is on campus is really important to me as well.
So I take it you're doing the expense reports?
I am. One of the things I wish I wasn't, but I think so. I'm fortunate that I have, there's five of us that are on staff here to coach the cross country and track and field team, but myself and only one other are full time. So I have three part-time staff members. So the part-time staff members are really just focusing on coaching and recruiting, kind of fills up all their time. So myself and Coach Siley, we really handle all the administrative parts of the program. So we played our skill sets. So I actually could probably change more. I could probably give him a little more to do. He's got an MBA, so he can handle some of the more expense stuff. But he does help me out a lot with a lot of it. But managing the money and making the money go far is something that's really important for me.
So you mentioned being the CEO. What is your favorite part of that CEO position, and what is your least favorite part?
Ooh, that's a great question. Well, I mean, I really do love having the ability to impact all aspects of our program. Being able to oversee coaches, but I do allow them obviously to coach their own events, but being able to go out and watch and observe and be part of the success of the young people in the program, and be part of the coach, the coaches having the success and being able to support them and give them the things that they need to be successful. That's one of the best parts about, being able to help them, like, much like I help the athletes try to achieve their goals and dreams, I want to be able to help the staff as well. So I think that's a fun part of it, is sitting down and trying to figure out what I can do to help them achieve success. You asked what was the part I like the least. I mean, the part that's really difficult being the CEO of the program is that everything flows upward. So every problem is your problem. You have to make a lot of decisions. So the hardest thing for me is managing myself so I don't have decision fatigue over the course of time, because it can be really, really difficult, because um, even the most mundane decisions can maybe have a ripple effect that you're not aware of. So I really try to make sure that I have a group of people that I rely on if I have to make big decisions, that I ask for advice, and whether that's people on my staff or other coaches that are in my hallway. But I think that's the difficult part of the job is trying to make all the burden of making all the right decisions and making sure that I'm being anything and everything I can be, not only for my staff, but also more importantly, the athletes in the program, because that's why we do what we do, is hopefully give them a pathway and give them opportunities for, success that they crave.
Coach, how's the fall treating you? How are the meets been? When's conference?
Yeah, so we have conference in a couple weeks, November 1st. The fall has been a little bit more difficult than I would hoped it would have been. We have on the men's side, we have a young but talented team. So the things that we talked about a few minutes ago with the hardest part in cross country is adapting to that 8K. So we have kids, athletes that I think can really take a big jump and really help us have success. They just haven't had that opportunity at the college level yet. We even have some juniors in the program, but they maybe have been battling some injuries. So this is their first year really, getting out there for the grind. But the exciting part is I think we really do have a chance to really achieve what our goals are. We just need to get a healthy lineup. We've had a little struggles with some injuries, but we're getting a little more healthy now. And I think we have a great chance to do that. And it's exciting because I think it's a chance for me to mold and kind of put together a team that maybe people didn't think would have success because we lost a lot of talent over the last 2 years. But I think we have a chance to do really well. On the women's side, we're a more experienced team in the sense of we're older, we're juniors and seniors, and we have some sophomores that had success last year, but they haven't been the person that had to be the person, meaning like they maybe didn't have to be the leader of the program or the team. They didn't have to be the number one or number two or number three runner. So I think that's the role they're adjusting to right now, is trying to be that and understanding, what it's like to be accountable in that role, what the expectations are, that it's a little bit different than being the person that you just have to go out there and run, that maybe other people are relying on you to have a little bit higher finish or a little bit better result. But on the women's side, we're much healthier now than we've been all season, and we race at Princeton in a couple days, so I'm real excited about that and to see where we are, and hopefully we could put some pieces together so that when we get into the conference meet, we can put together a narrative of what, hey, here are our goals. This is what we can hope to accomplish. But I'm real excited. We've had some really great training over the last 2, 3 weeks. We're just waiting for it to show up in a racing situation.
And where will conference be held?
We go to this great place. It's called the Twin Ponds at the Farm. It's in Montgomery, New York. So it's kind of right over the border into New York and right above North Jersey. It's this farm. They let us host a meet there during COVID. We found it, and it just was this really great place. And Manhattan's kind enough to be the host. But it's great. We're the only game in town when we're up there. It's a really great course. There's a couple loops on two sides of these farm fields, so it's really spectator friendly. I get out there on my bike. I can pretty much see almost the entire race, which is really great from a coaching perspective because you get a really great, I can get some really great feedback or give some really great feedback to the athletes. And, I think it's really great. I think it's fair. It's got some hills. It's not perfect terrain, which is kind of fun also. But you also can run really, really fast on it. So I think it's really a great opportunity. And for our conference, we're really competitive for our level distance conference. And I think it's a great opportunity to showcase our athletes in a setting where, like I said, we're the only game in town on that day. And that's really, really fun and exciting.
Iona's still in there with you guys?
Yes, Iona's in
Yeah.
there. So on the men's side, they're the perennial winners on the men's side. I mean, they have obviously they've had great lineage of coaches. Coach Pienta does an outstanding job continuing on the legacy of that program, and they have some great athletes, and they definitely make it really, really difficult. And on the women's side, Quinnipiac has won the last three in a row. They've done an outstanding job. Carolyn has done a really outstanding job with that program, and I know that Iona them kind of battling back and forth, and on the men's side, we were fortunate. We were second last year, and the women, we were third, which was our highest combined finishes. So we were super excited about that. And it's going to take a big effort this year to hopefully replicate that. But we're up for the challenge, and we're hoping to put ourselves in a position to have success when we get to get to a couple thousand meters to go. Hopefully, be in it and see what we can do.
And from a training perspective, where do you guys get I remember you guys had a race back in the day on the campus, but
Mhm.
there's some great training grounds out and around you. You guys able to get off campus and get on some soft surfaces?
Yeah, we have a wonderful training environment. So we spend a lot of time. We're 15 minutes from Washington's Crossing Park. So down there, there's a towpath, that goes for hundreds of miles. There's a Jersey side and a PA side. The Jersey side is probably around 3 to 4 feet wide in gravel, and we have a section where we can go about 6 miles where we're uninterrupted. So there's no parking, no crossovers, no cars. So we do a lot of our tempo threshold work down there. We'll do some progressive runs, which is great. On the PA side, it's not as wide. It's a little thinner, but it's prettier. It's more, bucolic. On the Jersey side, it's along the canal, which is nice, but there's some road, so you kind of hear the cars zipping by. The PA side, it's a little bit nicer. We'll start our long runs on that side, so the guys can do like a 15-mile loop. They can run into New Hope, cross over into Lambertville, come back over into Washington's Crossing. So we do a lot of runs there. We have a park that's real close called Rosedale. We can park on two different sides of it, and you could run, 75, 80 minutes and not really run the same thing twice. You may cross over a feeder trail here or there, but it's mostly grass, dirt, and gravel, which is really, really great. There is a paved portion out the back that they call the Lawrence Hopewell Trail, so we run on that a little bit as well. You can go out, 5, 6 miles and, out and back, which is great. We have this place called the Union Transport Trail. Same kind of thing. It's an old rails to trail, but it crosses the road a couple times. So we don't really do workouts on it, but we'll do long runs and most of the time we'd go out there for recovery kind of days.
Mhm.
So we get to go there. In Pennsylvania, we're very flat. You guys can know from Jersey side, depending where you are, it can be really flat. So we're really flat where we are. So we go into Pennsylvania. There's a park called Tyler State Park, which was attached to where I went to high school. So there's a lot of very challenging hills. So we do a lot of running over there. We're trying to get some hill runs. We have this place called Round Valley Reservoir, that's a little, it's above, it's up in Reddington, technically, White House Station area of Jersey, a little bit north of here. But we can do a nice 15-mile loop that has a nice little mile-and-a-half mountain climb in the middle of it, which they don't find all that much fun, but it's really pretty out there, and it's a really great chance to get some challenging runs in. And we're in an area too where we have a trail on campus. It's about right out the back of our campus. It's a rails to trail. It's about 3 miles out, so they could get about a 6 mile run in if they wanted to for warm up or whatever. And we're in central suburbia Jersey, so there's definitely some other places to run that are really nice. So we're not hurting for it, but yeah, we're really, really fortunate. On campus too, we have our own track, which is outstanding, and then we have a bunch of grass fields. So if we need to do some grass intervals or things like that, we have some backfields that we like to go to. It's about an 800-meter loop that's kind of protected on three sides by trees, which is really nice. And we can go out back there, bring out the speaker, crank up some tunes, and run around a little bit. I'll play DJ. I'll take requests, and the kids can get out there and have some fun. And but yeah, we're really, really fortunate that we have some great places to go.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. We didn't have that at Monmouth. But you hear what he said, Coach Jimmy said Central Jersey.
Yeah, it does exist. It does exist. That's what
Yeah,
we've been
I
trying
live
to
in
tell.
Central Jersey. I think it exists.
That's what we say, Coach. We grew up in Central Jersey. All those
Love it.
North Jersey people, they don't give us any love.
No, they do not. No, people from South or North don't think there's a Central. I'm Central.
Coach, I believe when Coach Hangy was on, he said that there's a great business program at Ryder. What are some of the majors that the kids on the team, or is there a bunch in one major? What
Mhm.
are kids looking at, and what are kids going to Ryder for?
Yeah, business is great. I mean, we were business school before we became a college and university, so it's really the flagship major. It's a really, really strong. We have really strong business program. Just up the street on Route 1, there's a ton of financial institutions, like BlackRock, et cetera. So a lot of the athletes, and even just regular students, can do some internships. We have a 5-year accounting program, which is really, really great. You get your CPA when you're out of here, which is awesome. And you do an internship between your fourth and fifth year. And then, unless you did a really bad job, you get an offer from them or maybe hopefully competing offers. So that's really great. We have a really great health sciences. So we have a lot of our women, especially, are in the bio program. Um, we added exercise science a couple years ago, so that's been a really, really popular major for us as well. Psychology, sports psychology, really, really strong. Education is another one that's really great. So we get a lot of athletes that want to be, educators. I think part of it is they want to be teachers, but they also want to maybe hopefully get into coaching someday, which is great. And yeah, so those are some of our really, really strong ones that we have. We have some sports media and sports management programs that we get a fair amount of interest in. as well. So it's really great that we have some things. And, like I said, we added exercise science a few years back, which has been a really great addition to the program. And, hopefully we'll add some few more things here in the near future that kids crave.
Coach, you said you're in suburban Central Jersey.
Mhm.
When the kids aren't running, when they're not in the books, what are they getting into as far as social life?
Social life. One of the things, we're obviously right between, almost equidistant between New York City and Philadelphia. So there's, some opportunities there. There's obviously a lot of Philly, New York sports battles going on internally in the team. We're real close to Princeton. I don't want to say Princeton University, but we're real close to Princeton. So they do spend some time hanging out up in Princeton, which is really, really great. And, it's one of the things we're in a suburban setting, but they do have access to a bunch of different things. We're not far from like New Hope and Lambertville, which provide a lot of, entertainment and opportunities to do some things different. The fall, I know especially our women's team, they like to go to, we have a lot of farms and, apple
Apple
orchards,
picking.
things like that. Yeah, apple picking or Terhune, which is down the street. We run by it, so it's not that far for them. So those are definitely things that they try to get involved in to keep them kind of entertained.
So you said there's some pro sports, Philly, New York. What's the predominant team or teams that they root for
Ooh,
on the team?
I think it's back and forth. It's surprisingly there's some Jets fans still left in the
Wow.
but yeah, there's a lot of Giants. Yankees is a big one, obviously. With the Phillies, Eagles, that's the big one, big rivalry. With that, I'm a Philadelphia area guy, so I'm a Philly sports guy. So it's been a rough couple weeks from that standpoint. They've lost a bunch of games, but yeah, it's usually New York and Philly. But you have your sprinkling in your. I'm sure you guys are from Jersey. There's always the random Cowboys fan. You're not sure how they became a Cowboys fan. So we have a few of those on our team. We don't talk to those guys, but yeah, we have a few of those as well.
It's funny you say that because I was a Cowboys fan back in the day, and my parents shamed me so much that I became a Giants fan. But I was a big Tom Landry fan. I liked the hat and the suit and all that
All
stuff, and
right.
they ridiculed me until I changed allegiance to the Giants.
The Giants. I hate to say it, but I think that's some good parenting going on there.
Well, the other funny thing, Coach, like I said, we wrestled growing up, and um, I just always assumed people in New Jersey were, Giants, Jets, Yankees, that sort of stuff. And then we started going to some wrestling tournaments down in South Jersey, and you see all these people in all their Philadelphia gear. I was like, Dad, what's going on? What are all these Philly fans? He's like, well, you see, once you get past like Ocean County, like Southern Ocean County, they start to send their allegiance to those Philadelphia teams, and so and then growing up, you have friends from Cherokee and different places down there, and they love the Phillies, they love the Eagles, and so it's a fun little, it's kind of that Central Jersey area where you get that difference of allegiances.
Yeah, exactly. I unfortunately live in the New York market, so I don't really get all the Philly
Uh,
games. So it's kind of disappointing for me at times. I don't always get all the Eagles or Phillies or Flyers and things like that. So
they're trying to tell you something.
yeah, I know. I make do. I make do. I'm not. My kids are Philadelphia sports fans, so I think I did a good job then
All
because
right.
they've only been raised here.
Coach, is there anything about the program that we haven't covered that you want our audience to know?
I think maybe it's come through, but I think one of the things that we really try to make it a hallmark of our program is that we are a team and that we're a full and complete team. And that one of the things we really try to do is we want to build we want to have sprints, hurdles, jumps, throws, and distance so that we have an opportunity to compete for a conference championship in track and field. And that's something that's really, really important to us. And the other part too is making sure that, hopefully the kids that are attracted to our program, I think are attracted to because of that they want to be part of something. We've been really, really fortunate that we've won a lot recently. That's not always going to be the case, but I think the idea that they want to be part of something, and that we have a chance to hopefully grow and develop them, and they learn some lessons on what it's like, so when they get into the real world, they have some tools and skills that they can be successful. And we're hoping that they're also really, really great people. That's something we want to do, and that whatever you come in and you probably have an idea who you are, but maybe we, hopefully can help you along the way that you can become and that we come, hopefully we're a close-knit team and that also that we're out when you get out in the world, you can go out and be a really good, positive, contributing member. And that's something that we want to be the hallmark of who we are, that we're gritty and tough when we're out there competing, but we're also, hopefully putting together really good human beings as well.
That's what it's all about,
Yeah.
Coach.
Coach, I really appreciate that perspective too. That's kind of what Coach Joe did at Monmouth. We were a complete team, and um, I really became a fan of track and field because of that, because we were such a close, tight-knit unit that, in between, 5K or 10K or whatever, that we were going over to watch the hammer throw and the shot put and the discus and checking in on the hurdlers and the jumpers, because we knew it wasn't the distance squad that was going to win a NEC title for us. We needed, to score across the board in all events. So I love that approach, and I try to do that with the teams that I coach too, to try to be balanced and have people scoring points in every event. Because if you can score points in every event, you're going to be real tough to beat.
Yep, exactly. And here's the deal. Coach Joe, I admire Joe tremendously. He's a great friend of mine. We were competitors against each other. He broke our hearts many, many times. But when it was all over, went over, shook his hand, and congratulated him. And listen, I would call him for advice at times, and ask for advice. Like, I'm trying to beat the guy, and he'd be willing to give me, 10, 20, 30 minutes of his time to really help me out. We're trying to build a program and be successful. And that's great. It's great to see. And those were great teams, and he had a great program for a long time. And I'm really excited for him. He had the track named after him, which is awesome. And he gave a lot and really put that program on the map, which is fun. And I'm glad you guys had a great experience.
Yeah, and not only probably battling with him on the track and on the cross country course, but probably a lot of recruiting battles as well, I
Oh,
would imagine.
yes. We lost way too many recruits to Monmouth over the years. But here's the deal. The reason why we have the program at the level it is right now is because of Monmouth and Coach Joe. We had to elevate who we were as a program if we wanted to be competitive with him, and all the credit goes to him. I mean, they were a juggernaut in our league. I mean, they were in our league. I think they were in our league for 10 years, and they won 38 of the 40 championships in track and field. I mean, that's insane. Like that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy amount of success that, only two stumbles along the way. And that's what they were, their stumbles. We couldn't beat them unless they messed up, and we were perfect. And we got lucky twice. But Joe is just outstanding. And not only that, he's an outstanding individual in person as well. So
Yeah, we love Coach Joe over here.
Yes, we do. Rich, you have anything else for Coach before we get in the final four?
I mean, I could talk track and field all night, but he's got kids to get home too, and he's probably got some recruiting calls to make. So let's get into the Final Four.
All right.
all right.
Coach, are you a coffee drinker?
Whew, I am not. I wish I was because it looks like it's fun. Like everybody looks like they're having so much fun drinking coffee. I actually drink Coke in the morning. That's my thing. So it's probably not the best thing to drink, but I don't drink coffee. My wife's a big coffee drinker, so I make her coffee every morning before I go to work, but I don't drink it myself.
Well, Coach, I don't think you need it because you got great energy, sir. So,
Thank you.
Gee, we've had a lot of coaches lately that are liking their sodas, whether it's Coca-Cola or Mountain Dew.
Oh, I do
yeah.
drink Mountain Dew too. I'm sad to admit that. Coke in the morning though.
Coach, do you have any daily practices or rituals you do on a regular basis to show up as the strongest version of Bob Hamer?
Whew, that's a great question. My thing is I really like to, back in the day when I could run, going for a run as many days as I could. That was just my time. Now it's on my bike, or maybe if it's bad weather, the elliptical. Like I just need that time to kind of, decompress a little bit, let my mind wander. I always say I give the best speeches in my mind on my bike or on the elliptical, and then when I get off, I'm like, damn, I can't remember what I just said. But I think that's something that really helps center and ground me, get some stresses out, maybe help me work through some problems and challenges that we're having, in the program or training or with the team. But that's definitely something that I think I take advantage of as much as I can.
Are you like a full kick guy getting out on a road bike?
Yeah, I do. I have my
Oh,
road
heck
bike. I
yeah.
love it. Full kit, get out there and go and, get after it. I love
Nice.
Coach, I am just like you. When I am working out, I have the best podcast interviews in my head. So I get it for sure.
Awesome. We got it. Love it.
Yep. So, Coach, you said you like to play DJ, track workouts. What are you listening to? What are you reading? Music, podcasts, audiobooks, anything like
Okay.
that?
Oh yeah, sure. So my formative years were the 80s, so I'm a big 80s music guy. Hair bands were my big thing, so I'm a big hair band guy. You want to dial it down, like Metallica's my favorite, so Metallica's a big one that I like. I'm also a Swiftie, and my kids got me into that. But I do love Taylor Swift, so that's kind of fun. I do love podcasts. I'm a big fan. Sadly, I was not aware of your podcast till you reached out to me. So I have done a little bit of a dive into some of them because I really do love. I love listening to coaches talk because I think it's really I can always learn something. Whether it's reaffirming something that I'm doing or I can always pick something from someone else and the way they're approaching something, maybe how they're problem solving, how they're doing their program that I can look up to and admire and try to be. So I do really have a bunch of podcasts I try to listen to if I come across anything related to coaching, not just track and field. Sometimes I listen to other stuff. I'm a big college football fan, so I read a lot about college football coaches and even just regular coaches. I subscribe to The Athletic, which is a really great website, and they have this new section where they call peak performance. So there's a lot of really great things in there. Like I read a really cool thing about Pete Carroll recently, so I kind of employed it with my athletes on my team, and I did it with my staff as well, and it's gone over really well. So I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, trying to learn. I wish I could read more books. I have the same book that's sitting on my dresser that's been there for about a year now, and I've only got through like 20 pages because I'll open it up and fall asleep. So I need to do a better job with that. But I do read a lot of articles in my inbox. I get a lot of stuff sent to me, subscribe to some things. So I do try to keep up that way. But yeah, podcasts are great. Well, you guys will definitely be in the rotation. So I've been digging through it. So it's been
Thank
great.
you. We
Yes.
appreciate that.
I will spread the word.
Thank you. Now, Coach, we are not college football fans, but I've been seeing a lot with the Penn State head coach coming across my feed
Mhm.
lately. What's going on? What are your thoughts?
It's super sad, right? They were so close a year ago to making it to the championship game, and this year the wheels have come off for whatever reason. So it's just kind of sad. I mean, Coach Franklin's done a great job, obviously, of building the program for what it takes to be successful. I think in modern college football, I mean, things have really changed quite a bit. Obviously, with revenue sharing, NIL, the idea of a general manager for college football is like crazy to me. And you have a bunch of analytics guys and coaches on your staff. So, yeah, it's really sad. I mean, obviously, I'm a Penn Stater, so I'm a huge Penn State fan. So this year has been obviously incredibly disappointing, but hopefully, things will turn around in the near future and they'll get back on track and have a chance to, compete for some championships in the near future.
Is Penn State your one and only college football team, or do you have other teams you root for?
I don't root for anybody. Well, yeah, I root for Penn State and anybody who plays Notre Dame. But so I have those are my two. But no, I mean I admire other programs, but yeah, Penn State's the only team that I root for. But like I said, I do love it. I admire coaches and football. I just love college football. I think it's an outstanding thing to watch on a Saturday or Thursday or Friday now, I guess as well. But yeah, I do love it.
Is there another program other than Notre Dame that people either love or hate, and there's no in between?
There probably isn't. I don't know that there is, right? Maybe the Yankees, something like that, right? But you're talking college. I mean, that's what people say they're the most popular team in the world, right? You either
Yeah.
love them or you hate them. Everyone has an opinion. So they were the big rivalry back when I was, in college,
Mhm.
So that it is a really cool thing. One of the cool things I have is we actually, when I was at Penn State, my freshman year, we beat Notre Dame. They were number one, and the game was actually on the road. But we had heard stories about, older guys on the team talking about tearing down the goalposts and stuff when they won a game. And so we got everybody from the dorms, went running up to the stadium and they were doing construction. So we were able to get in there and all thousands of us tore the goalpost down and paraded it all through town. And eventually we got it to this one part. And one of the guys on my team cut a giant section off of it. So we cut up a little section. So I actually have a section of the goalpost that's on my desk that I use as a pen holder. So this is
Nice.
pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little talking piece when I get somebody that really likes college football. So it's one of my cool memorabilia things that I have in my
That's
life.
super cool. Speaking of goalposts, did you see the goalpost topple on top of the kid from the University of Colorado when they tore it down this
Yeah,
weekend?
I didn't actually see the video. My daughter actually
Oh
goes
my
to
gosh.
Colorado and she left the game early. I was so mad. I was like, what do you mean you left the game early? You missed the best part. That was why you went there, so you could rush the field and charge out there and be on the field. That's why you go there. So, but yeah, no, I heard about it. I haven't seen it yet, so I'll have to go back and take a peek at it. But I guess I do kind of I'm a little bit of a fan of Colorado because my daughter goes there right now. But so I guess I wasn't truthful in the previous question. I apologize. But
That's
yeah,
right.
Dion's a good guy. I think he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, we're fans. Jimmy's a CU Denver grad, so we throw
Oh,
some
nice.
allegiance to the Buffs as well.
All right, go Buffs, as they say, right?
Yeah. Coach, last one we got for you to close that's a lighthearted one. Maybe it's a food item, maybe it's a beverage. You mentioned already that you're a Swiftie. Do you have a guilty pleasure?
Oh, guilty pleasure. Oh, geez. I mean, I would say probably my Coke is my guilty. My Coca-Cola is my guilty pleasure, I guess. I mean, I guess you could consider being a Swiftie a guilty pleasure, right? Because people don't realize, I'll be spinning tunes and we'll go from, Master of Puppets to a Taylor Swift song, and the kids look at me kind of side-eyed, like, what the heck is going on? Till they get it, then the upper class are like, it's okay. That's just the way he is. He's a little different. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would be it. Maybe chocolate chip cookies. They're kind of my kryptonite at times.
Okay.
I'm a
Okay.
big chocolate chip cookie fan. So you get a good chocolate chip cookie, it kind of gets me.
Yeah, makes everything right in the world.
We need those, right?
Yes, we do.
Need those.
Coach Hamer, after talking to you, talking to Coach Hangy, we know they got a good thing going on at Ryder. I can't wait to see what the team does in cross country and then in track and field in indoor and outdoor. But we will be rooting for you. So thank you so much for your time this evening. This was a great conversation.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, Coach, it's an honor and pleasure to chat with you this evening, get to know you a little bit better. We've been following Ryder for a long time as competitors and fans of New Jersey college track and field and cross country. So best of luck to you at conference and best of luck indoor and outdoor. And as Jimmy said, we'll be rooting for the Broncos.
Cool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Coach Bob Hamer, Director of Track and Field and Cross Country at Rider University. Make sure you check all those links in the show notes. Go give them a little love. Tell them that the Airey Bros sent you. We will be back on Thursday night with Chris Lear. He'll be joining us to talk about his new book with Sean Brosnan, Beyond Fast. We are super excited to talk with him about that, and we'll probably dive